So while I was on my mission, I think it's the biggest city that I'd served in was a city called Nuremberg. And it's a very famous city. It's a very important city in Germany's history. It belongs to like what's the word? A region called Bayern, and that's like the more traditional sort of Germany. And so there's lots of culture there and lots of history. It's a very big city. They have subways, they have trains and trams and buses and just lots of public transportation. I think that's the most common form of transportation in Germany or overall, but especially in Nuremberg because it's so big. They had so many different ways of travelling. But what else can I tell you about Nuremberg is that it's very famous for its history in World War II, as many other places in Germany as well. But in particular in Nuremberg, there's a museum dedicated purely to Adolf Hitler's like basically rise to power in politics. That happened in Nuremberg. A majority of it, I think. I think he might have even started in Nuremberg. So it's very famous for that. It's also famous for the Nuremberg trials from World War II. When the World War II was over, and they were doing the trials for all the German leadership who were involved in World War II. And those trials were done in Nuremberg, obviously, where they're all convicted guilty of all the offences that they were accused of. Yeah, but that's just like, that's a bit more of a negative side. On the flip side, the more positive side, Nuremberg is actually a very beautiful city and has a very, like, lots of wonderful old buildings. They're famous for their Frauenkirche, or the women church, I guess, if you translate it directly. And they're very famous for their Christmas markets. They're beautiful there. And I just loved serving there. It was one of my favourite cities, and I got to serve there probably the longest out of all the areas I served in. And there were so many different cultures there too. Lots of people from all around the world just living in Nuremberg. So not just Germans, but people from Turkey or just other parts of Europe that I met. Lots of people. It was a really amazing place.